ordinarily when I do multimedia, I tend to start off with the browser because that's, you know, one of the first things that people ask about. What's the browsing experience like? But instead, I'm going to actually go into the ticker here first. And you'll see the thing that I do like about the ticker is you don't have to have the actual main screen lit to use it. There's a grab point, and you see it there, where you can grab the sides of the phone and actually activate it. And the purpose of the ticker is to get, you know, simple notifications. Like you see here, you've got the messaging. If you had voicemail, right here you can see an ESPN article pulled up in the ticker. But if I had, you know, any new messages or any new voicemails or anything like that, I could actually, you know, bring up that information from right here on the ticker. And see, right now I don't have anything to really display, so I can't utilize it fully. But then you hit this button over here, and that'll actually, if I've got the, oops, hold on, there we go, sorry about that. And that will show you the different, you know, RSS feeds that I have. So right now, pretty generic. I got ESPN, Reuters, and then there's WeatherBug, weather updates. But you could actually come over here to the RSS tab, menu, and then go to ticker settings, and then here you can manage your RSS feeds and, you know, pick up, you know, other RSS feeds. And there's some other preloaded ones. See here, you got CNN, Fox Business, Celeb Hub, Music Hub, so on and so forth. So you get the picture. I mean, you can basically plug in any RSS feed and then get that information delivered to you right down here in the ticker. And I do like the weather thing. That's, you know, always cool to be able to just, you know, if you're indoors, look down here, you know, at your ticker and see, you know, what the weather's like, you know, what the weather's doing outside. So, you know, that's a pretty cool feature. And you see here, if you click on that weather button, it will launch the corresponding application. So that works out real well. So the ticker it's pretty clever. To me, it's a heck of a trade-off to give up that extra screen real estate for something that is used part-time. And some people may or may not like getting their information just dumped to them continuously. Some people like to just check it when they want to check it. They may not want to know every second, you know, did I get a text message? But for some people who are, you know, info junkies and want to know what's going on constantly, they will, you know, definitely like having that information delivered to them, you know, on a constant basis. Some of the other multimedia pluses, let's go ahead and jump into the browser. This is pretty much standard stuff. This is a Rivals website I'm on right now. But the web browser on here is pretty good. It's got the multi-touch support, which you see there. Let me bring up the menu, go to bookmarks, and let's go ahead and jump on over to ESPN. Let you guys get a quick look at the speed. And this was on just a Verizon 3G, so browsing speed is pretty good. And you got a Hummingbird sitting inside this bad boy, so I mean, you're gonna have pretty good performance. That's a real strong processor. Another big flaw though is a lack of flash. This being Android 2.1, flash wasn't standard. And if you go to the market, or if you go looking for it on various websites, you know, if you're running the legit version of this software, there's no working Adobe Flash. So instead, you end up running Skyfire, which you'll see here. And Skyfire works well. I mean, it's a good substitute. You know, I like to have, you know, pretty much Flash ready and running out of the box. To have to run another browser just to play Flash videos is a little bit of an annoyance, but you know, like I said, Skyfire is a decent alternative. I mentioned before, the camera on this device is real good. You will get good quality HD video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the music player as well. I'll let you guys get a check out of that. And I don't know what that is that's trying to play. Let me go to, and let's see. Some Mr. Probs right here. jump to another Mr. Props track. And you see here, you got a different skin Android player. I do like this music player a lot better than the stock Android. So that's one thing where you got to give a thumbs up to Samsung and the TouchWiz interface. It's a nice looking music player. I like the layout. And then here you've got, you know, other options that you can go into. You can go into settings. You've got your equalizer and effects that you can apply. So, you know, thumbs up in the media player department. And that's one thing that Samsung seems to do consistently well across all their Galaxy devices. But pretty strong. It's just flash. The lack of flash is the big disappointment. But you do have the DLNA support. You know, the web browsing is very good. You got, you know, YouTube, which actually functions well. So there's ways to get around it. There's ways to get your video content in, even though you don't have flash, but it would have been nice to have. So, you know, let's go ahead and round this baby up and give out our final score for the Continuum. So at the end of the day, man, the Continuum is it's an above average phone. I will say that. It definitely doesn't suck, but I don't think this phone is going to blow you away either. Verizon has such a good, diverse lineup of Android phones. It's kind of tough for this one to stand out. And I think what they went for, you know, as far as standing out from the competition is the ticker display. And it's a useful tool, but to me, in using it, it's not one of those things that ended up being just a must-have selling point. I mean, by getting, you know, text messages and being able to, you know, see missed calls and everything from right here in the ticker, that wasn't enough to make me say I have to have this phone. And for me, I am definitely a proponent of larger screen sizes. I like phones to be at least 3.7 and up. And after having had time to play around with, you know, some of the 4-inch phones that's out, you know, whether it's the Evo or even the other Galaxy devices, I definitely prefer, you know, the 4-inch screen sizes too. So when you're working with 3.4 here, and then here you see just the overall build of the phone is kind of narrow. And when you're typing, especially in portrait mode, it's not the easiest thing. And, you know, I found myself, you know, sometimes mistyping messages. And I'm not a big fan of the swipe keyboard, which does come pre-installed on this. I actually went back to the stock Android. Because swipe just doesn't work for me. But, you know, that small screen size to me comes into play a little bit too often. And, you know, I understand why they did it. They had to make this device stand out from the Fascinate and from the other Galaxy S devices. But at the end of the day, I just don't think the ticker is enough of a selling point to win me over. Also, too, the price isn't bad on this device. It's $99.99 at this point in time on Verizon Wireless. But, I mean, Verizon's been doing different Droid promotions. And, I mean, right now you can get a Droid X for $49.99. And when you've got some heavyweight, you know, albeit older devices available at those prices, you know, this device at $99 is somewhat of a tough sale. So, final score-wise, man, I give the Continuum a 6.5 out of 10. A decent phone. If you are a person that just, you know, loves getting your info fed to you rapid fire, then you may want to consider this device because the ticker does help in that regard. If you're a person that doesn't, you know, have to have the big screen sizes, then you also, you know, may still want to consider this device. So it's a solid phone, but I do think that Samsung could have done better, and they have got to, I repeat, they have to do a better job of getting the Google software updates out to their devices. I mean, for 5 months after launch to still be on Android 2.1 for a device that has the specs that this phone has is just unacceptable. So 6.5 out of 10 for the Continuum. Stay tuned. I got a Motorola Zoom, which will be arriving tomorrow. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'll have an unboxing and a hands-on video for the Motorola Zoom, which is Android and Verizon's new flagship tablet. But this is Major for Infamous Tech Blog signing off. Peace.